Guys, what's up? It's Joe Ready from Ready's Rise. We're back here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? I have that big bad mamma jamma that not only got redesigned, but technically has a new trim. Is this vehicle right here? This is a 2025 Ford Expedition. This is the new Expedition Tremor. But before we get into this full-size, full-on off-road SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So you heard correctly. The Tremor is a new trim. It actually replaces the outgoing Timberline. And it's actually a good thing. Having that Tremor name puts it perfectly in alignment with the series of trucks that have already been produced that have the same off-road capability and that name Tremor. Now what's great about it, it isn't just a package that puts some fancy badges and some little ornamental graphics on the vehicle. This new redesigned Expedition not only gets all of the touches of technology and style, but also more off-road capability. Now, in this segment, there's not a lot of full-size off-road competition, but it is growing. What I want to find out is, though, do you go with something like this Expedition Tremor, or do you go maybe a little bit different route and go with that off-road version of the Armada? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this Expedition Tremor and find out. Right off the bat, I really love how the Tremor package fits this particular color. It's called Space Silver, and it almost has like a whitish bluish tinge depending on how much sunlight is hitting it and what angle you're looking at it. Now at the front of the business, you're going to get that whole new Expedition look, and I like the way they did the black with the flat gunmetal metallic silver full LED headlights, LED turn signals, and daytime running lamps. Working our way down, when you go Tremor, you're going to get that 24 karat gold paint scheme, LED fog lamps, and functional air curtains. But with the space silver and the gold accents, it really works. Now there is that green color you could get, which also looks good, but I'm really digging the way that they did the gold with the space silver. Like I said, that full daytime running lamp, it's all LED. Now, to show that this has that extra capability, you have more ground clearance than ever before. 10.6 inches of ground clearance. Of course, we're gonna have those powder coated gold tow recovery hooks on both sides of the lower bumper area. And you have real deal metal skid plates underneath. And I think why the Tremor exists now is not only to bring it in alignment with the off-road trim on the trucks, but also Jim Morrison, the previous CEO of Jeep, made fun of the Timberline setup that they had from Ford, you know, on the Explorer and on the Expedition, calling them out, saying it was not very off-road capable. But like I said, 10.6 inches of ground clearance. They sculpted the lower bumper to give you a better approach angle and departure angle out back. I'm digging the gloss black on the grille, nothing too heavy. You got your blacked out blue oval that looks fantastic. Forward facing camera, I am gonna zonk it, there's no washer on it. You definitely gotta have a washer if you're going off-roading. And then you got fully functional grills both at the top and down below. And really what makes it for me on this trim is that gunmetal flat gray finish. Now, you do get the Expedition letters on the hood. I wish, I'm gonna say it again, that they would just emboss it rather than stick these on. I don't know, it's just a little too much. But that bold hood, especially how high the hood sits, just gives it a nice, like, get out of my way look, or I'm just gonna drive right through you. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with wheel and tire setup? So you're gonna get these real deal General Grabber all-terrain tires, 33-inch tire on an 18-inch wheel. Like the way they put the little gold accent in there from Fort Knox. And I love the way it's painted that gloss metallic gray finish. Of course, the suspension has been retuned to do a lot more off-roading, to give you better wheel travel. And if you're wondering, well, what's the actual size of the tire? Besides it being a 33-inch tire, you're looking at tires that are 275 on the width, beefy 70 series sidewall, and I like the way there's no flat black. Everything is just nicely painted. Now coming down the side, you do have your gloss black on the mirror caps, LED turn signals, 360-degree cameras. Tremor badge name, I don't know why they put it down so low. Why has it got to be all the way down there? But it's there, and it's got the gold. Those Tremor specific fixed running boards, powder coated. And from the side, this sits on an F-150 chassis. Box frame, steel box frame. This is large. There used to be an Excursion, which sat on an F-250 chassis, but that hasn't been seen in quite some time. Now on this trim, you do get the raised roof rails, flat black. I like the way they put this LED lighting. So when you're at your campsite, you could do full LED lighting around to really illuminate the camping ground that you're at in case there's, a scorpion, a spider, or a snake that's trying to bite you. Coming towards the rear, spin around, you got a nice large quarter glass. Love the way they did the taillights redesign, all LED. And then from the back, it's almost perfect. You have your nice painted roof spoiler. You'll notice the LED lighting. Love the way they do that all the way around the vehicle. I like the Expedition name with the gold. What I don't like is the gloss black here. That's a major zonk. I'll just be frank, it looks ugly. There's no other way for me to put it. I don't know why they didn't just paint it. They painted everything else. A little sad. Another thing, hold on a second. So let's talk about this for a second. Why did they put Tremor names on the doors down below, where you could barely even see them, when there's no Tremor badge on the back? It's things like these I don't understand. Like, here, I could save Ford money. How about just put one Tremor badge on the back and not on the doors? What do I know? What do I know? Now, working our way down, you have this large panel that's going to pop off, and you have more towing capability with the Expedition than you had previous model year. And you don't have any exposed exhaust, which I'm okay with, especially on a Tremor off-road edition. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about horsepower. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood is the high output version of the engine that's available on an Expedition. It's that 3.5 liter EcoBoost. So that means it's a twin turbo V6, 440 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. It is bolted to a 10-speed automatic transmission. 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. Top speed is governed to 125 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 5,844 pounds. MPGs around 15 in the city, 22 on the highway. And with the new towing package, you could tow up to 9,600 pounds, and you have a rear locking diff, electronic rear locking diff, which is part of the Tremor package as well. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this EcoBoost and see this big Tremor roll. All right, guys, we are inside this bad mamma jamma known as the 2025 Ford Expedition Tremor. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I want an off-road full-size SUV. I don't want any of these mid-size crossover. I'm going to go off-road and I'm going to bend it like a freaking pretzel. But how much is this Tremor? Very good question. MSRP for the way that this one is optioned is right around $84,000. Let's see what you get compared to a Nissan Armada Pro-4X. To the door panels, I love the materials. Soft touch up top, love the gold stitching. That's actually real gold thread from Fort Knox. You do have a nice soft armrest, and I'm even digging that like rocky textured material right by the switchgear for your door locks. No gloss black, B&O sound system, and a nice large door pocket to where you could get your big Buford from Checkers, and you could get yourself 2 chili hot dogs, plus a banana shake and a strawberry shake. Talk about a party in a door pocket. Going from the door panel to the dash, they do the sound bar B&O sound system. Love the soft touch, the stitching, that rocky material. Slide on in, you got your 13.1-inch infotainment system. This is what you're going to be touching. So you have all your different apps. You have different things when it comes to your vehicle, like the trail turn assist. That's technology. I've used it in their trucks. It really works well when you're trying to make a tight turn. Even your driver's seats, when it comes to the memory settings, everything is within the infotainment system. Now let me throw it into reverse. Look how clear the resolution is. Beautiful. 360, really nice setup. And then up top, you have your 25 inches of screen. Now, this is not a touch screen. You could touch it, but it doesn't do anything. But that's your digital gauge cluster. Anything here, you change through that. So what I do is, say if I want to change something, I come here. Let's say I don't want audio. Let's say I want some cool gauges, because I'm all about gauges. You tap it, look at that. Now I have gauges. Let's say I want off-road status. I tap it, now I have the display, pitch, roll, and the 4x4 system. Of course, you have that transfer case up front. So nice to have it so easily changeable. Even weather, for God's sakes. Kind of crazy. I got to enable what we're going on here. There we go. Weather. It's 86 and it's hot, man. No breeze. All your AC controls, unfortunately, are in the screen. So that is a zonk. But you do have 3 stages of ventilation seats, 3 stages of heated seats, and a heated steering wheel. Dual climate, of course. And then we're right back to where we started. Rotary dial for the 10-speed, automatic. Knob for your volume. Quick access buttons. Hill descent control. Love the way they did the trim here. There's ambient lighting that you can't see because it's daytime right now, but I love the way they did this trim. Open up the door, number 1. We got our Pro Trailer Assist. Wireless charging, USB-C, USB-A. 2 cup holders. Of course, we have the sliding center console. So let's just say you have, a couple footballs. You're going to a Bucks game and you want to get some players to sign your balls. You can put your balls there. Or if you're going to the store, you can put your purse, your sack, your satchel. Steven would put his hat there. He always has to wear this hat, this bucket hat that he loves. You could put it in there and then slide it back very easily. Just don't have it in there or you're going to squish it. So if you have your balls in there, you're going to crush your balls by sliding it closed. So just be careful with the sliding. I tell that to Steven all the time. Be careful when it comes to sliding. Now, key fob, Ford, go figure. All your buttons on the back. I like the way they did this material here. This opens up and then you have 2 USB-Cs, a 12 volt, and you could put, I would say, 6 Furbies in there. Let me tell you a quick story. This is kind of funny. I remember when I was in college, going to University of Central Florida, there was a toy store down on International Drive, and supposedly my friend knew somebody there that had a hookup on Furbies, because my sister wanted one, and my mom was looking all over for it, and she couldn't find one. I went down there. I stood in line for like 6 hours. I was 4 people away from the door when the manager came out and said, sorry, we're out of Furbies. So never again will I ever wait in line for something like that. Actually, I very rarely wait in line for anything, but definitely for a Furby. Seats, the leather, love the way they did the Tremor embroidery, the nice gold stitching. Full electric assist for the passenger, full electric assist for the driver, and we got that power shade with our panoramic sunroof. Look at that. Really nice. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a weird steering wheel I want to show you in this Expedition Tremor. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your seat controls, easy to get to, within fingertip reach. I'm 6 feet tall. There's plenty of room in here, and if you want, you could. Steven always does this. What is wrong with him? He loves having the seat like in this high chair. I lowered it. I even have more room. Steering wheel, it's weird. Very minimalistic. I don't know why they put gloss black here, right where you're touching. That's perfect. I mean, look at that. And then if you want to control anything on the screen, you got to use the buttons here. So to move the steering wheel, I have to go this, then this, and now I'm able to tilt the wheel down or up. Wow. This does have Blue Cruise, which is that autonomous hands-free driving experience. It is power tilting and telescoping. You got your drive modes and your 4x4 set up here, and it's real easy to change your modes just by changing. Real simple down there. And then you have your instrumentation. Now, you'll notice on the left, that's where you got your different modes. So we're gonna go sport, spirited on-road driving. And now the 4x4 shifts into action and the dash changes a little bit. But this is basically supposed to be your HUD, your head-up display. That's why they configured it like that. But let's get into the mid-row and third row and see if your friends and family are gonna want a little bit of a Tremor in their life. All right, guys, mid-row and third row. Steven doesn't like to do it this way, but Steven doesn't get what he wants. He knows that. Now, the seats, the leather is great, the stitching. Look at this armrest. It literally reminds me of when we used to be paddled back in school for misbehaving. Yes, I was once paddled by my principal, and it looked like something like this. So, but nice to have a lot of real estate for your arm. And it flips up out of the way very easily. You got your USB-Cs, 2 of them. Nice large pockets. Bring your boxes of Mike and Ike's hot tamales, good and plenty. Lemon heads. Ooh, I used to eat so many lemon heads as a kid that it would make the inside of my mouth raw. But I wouldn't even be able to like talk for days. Back of the command center, you do have your blower fan, your temperature gauge, 2 stages of heated seats, which are nice, no ventilated seats. Home power source. And one thing I just want to point out is look how when you slide the center console back in the rear seat, it's perfect for people in your life that have short arms, whether they're your kids or somebody who just has short arms, easy to get to everything. And this is one of those places where you could put an iPad. It's all about BYOD. What does that mean? Bring your own device. They didn't want to put big, huge screens in here and make the price even higher than $84,000. So what they decided to do is give you areas where you could put a screen and let your kids watch their movies or whatever, so they shut up on a family trip. And then, of course, to put it back, there we are. Now, the seats, they do slide, which is great. They do recline. They recline quite a bit. And we're going to get into the back, even though Steven doesn't want to do this. Now, Steven's going to show you. Here's where you press. You press that. Nice electric, lifts up. And look at all the room you have. I mean, that's a lot of real estate. Coming to the third row, this is, wow. This is what I'm talking about. So we have AC vents up top, USB-Cs on both sides, 2 of them, and I even got a little power recline. Talk about being spoiled. This is the ultimate people hauler. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the cargo area, because I want to take you for a spin in this Tremor. All right, guys, cargo area time. I'm going to have to cover my eyes because I can't look at this gloss black. You can still find the button, though, if you can't look at it. There's the button, nice electric assist. You'll notice the split gate. So it's like water gate, only totally different. You have your split gate. So you have your top portion rises, push this button, the bottom portion drops down, gives you a nice sort of loading dock area. They want you to turn this into the ultimate tailgating experience, picnic, camping, whatever. You got a picnic table you can set up. I do like the way it's all nice, just flat black with the Expedition name. You have your cornucopia of buttons over here to lower the seats and raise the seats. That's for our exterior lighting. And then of course you got an area there where you could put, I would say, 4 Einstein bagels. Make mine a nice cinnamon raisin. Home power source, 12 volt, 2 USB-Cs. Now let's make the rest of the magic happen. So you're just gonna hit it, don't quit it. That goes down, this goes down. We got it all going down to Chinatown here. So you gotta just make sure you don't press the buttons too many times like I am. I'm pressing them way too many times. But you can see how I put the 60-40 split, and I even put down one of the mid-row seats. And would you believe me if I told you I meant to do that? But what do we have when it comes to room? This actually has more room than certain people's apartments. What you're looking at is 22 cubic feet of space with the third row up, 61 cubic feet of space with the third row down, and then 109 cubic feet of space with that mid-row down. What's underneath here? This is where you're gonna find your little picnic table that you could set up and have your, you know, your, what do they call that stuff? Potato salad, macaroni salad. I used to hate that. The coleslaw, I hate coleslaw. It's like all smelly and wet, ugh. Anyways, so to put this up, you go like that. I'm starting to have flashbacks of being forced to go to picnics with my family. And then the two pieces come together like a PB&J. I'll take a PB&J right now. No coleslaw. But why don't we go ahead? Why don't we all hop in? You, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your mailman. Let's all hop into this Expedition Tremor and go for a spin. All right, guys, we're leaving Walker Ford. We're inside this all-new 2025 Ford Expedition Tremor. And right away, I have it in sport mode. You can tell because of the way that it shows the tachometer right underneath that speedometer there on the dash. And what you're gonna love about the interior is just how spacious it is and how organized it is. Very well set up. It takes a little bit of getting used to the steering wheel, I have to be honest. But with that being said, the best part of it, it's very comfortable to hold on to. Even with the gloss black here, the seating position is very natural and you're not having to dangle your arms out in front of you. You could really just let them kind of drape down next to your side. Getting to the 13.1-inch infotainment system, very easy. And just remember, that is a head-up display. It is at the perfect height visibility-wise. It doesn't impede vision out the windshield. And all the materials have really been upgraded in here very nicely. The storage, the way you can move the center console is fantastic. And the seats are spectacular. I mean, they're just so comfortable, and having all the heated and ventilated portions to it makes it great as well. You could hit that forward-facing camera. Real nice to have that. And then pulling away from the light. On throttle, here we go. So you got smooth shifts from that 10-speed automatic. And each of the modes is very, very unique upon itself. We're gonna go back into just normal mode, balanced everyday driving. And you can feel the difference between the throttle sensitivity, the steering sensitivity, all those goodies. And then of course you have all the other modes for off-roading and trailering and whatnot. But you have your full suite of all the safety features, that goes without saying. Easy reach, like I said, to everything. Whether it's in the screen that you're looking at, I could shut off that pesky auto start-stop feature. And like I showed you before, having the cameras, even when you're at a light, are just really nice. You could really kind of zoom in and take a look at where you're at on the road. Really, really nice to do. Driving down the road, the suspension is just really perfect on this vehicle. You know, having the ability to go just about anywhere with this Expedition Tremor just opens up the versatility of this vehicle, and having an environment where it's comfortable, it's well laid out, and you have plenty of room for all of your passengers, not just the people up front, but also your passengers in the mid row, and especially that third row, which is great as well. Side mirrors have lots of real estate, and I also love the blind spot cameras that they have. That's another nice addition that they're bringing on this Ford Expedition. More vehicles need to have that. Let's go on throttle. You ready? On throttle. Now there is sound that is pumped in through the speakers in the cabin, and it does a good job of making it sound like there's a V8 underneath the hood. It's not obnoxious, it's not too much in your face. It's a nice balance to the actual real sound coming from the engine compartment, but also a little bit extra kind of added in, and overall I think it actually helps the driving experience. But going down the highway with those off-road tires, it's a little noisier, but not anything too over the top. I could activate Blue Cruise. Look how simple that is. And I like the way it tells you when Blue Cruise is available. That to me is pretty neat. But it's a great autonomous hands-free driving experience, similar to GM's Super Cruise, but as you can see, just very easy to use. It'll change lanes for you, it'll adjust speed depending on vehicles that are in front of you, and they keep adding, of course, more and more miles every year to the Blue Cruise program. Takes a little bit of getting used to not having your hands or feet on anything, but once you do, it's actually really, really nice. You can change lanes. Preparing to change lane. There we go. Did it for me. And then to shut it off, that's it. Deactivated. Doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. And that's what I like about the system. But I hope that this has been a good, quick overall review of this Expedition Tremor. We're going to get back to Walker Ford and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, another day, another great driving experience here at Walker Ford. Definitely got to thank Frank Walker, Western Walker, Tracy, and the rest of the crew getting us their very first 2025 Tremor edition of the Expedition. Let me know what you think. Are you going to go Armada with the Pro-4X? Or are you thinking you're going to go with this new setup known as the Tremor on the Expedition? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Got to give out this Steven Flood. Show him some love in the comment section. He is going on a trip to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, to film an event where it's all about cars. So hopefully the event happens and it doesn't get shut down. Thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.